Today we are going to talk about tools and connectors that you will use to terminate analog CCTV cabling. Here is everything kind of generic items that you'll need. You have regular cable strippers, cable cutters, or dikes. On those two, get good pairs, sharp options of these. You do not want dull stuff when you're in the middle of nowhere and you're trying to cut through, 4 and 5 layers of material. You've got regular cable stripper. Most of them are universal. They do Rg59 and Rg6. You've got lots of different kinds. Just a general kind of pair is perfect. You have a ratcheting crimp tool that does 2-piece connectors, which are kind of those 4 there, and then you have compression fittings here that you need a compression tool to squeeze the band, and you have Rg6 cable, Rg59 cable, and then 18.2 power wire. The 18.2 power wire and the Rg59, when put together, is called Siamese cable, and I have stripped down the power wire just so you can see red is positive, black is negative, and it's just stranded 18.2. This has been terminated with a 2-piece male BNC connector just so you can see what it looks like. And so together these are Siamese cable. They have their own vinyl shield, and you just separate them either at the camera end or at the DVR end. So you pull one cable, run through wherever you're actually going to be running your cable, and then you just separate it at both ends. It makes it super easy for installation. Rg59 and Rg6, they're both coax cables. Rg59 is smaller. It has a smaller center conductor, and it has smaller vinyl. So the ferrules that you use, or the compression connector that you use, you have to make sure that it matches the type of coax cabling that you have, or you are going to be in a world of hurt trying to terminate your cables. The Rg6 I've actually just stripped down so you can see the 4 components. You have a center conductor, which is the positive part of the video. You have white insulation, which separates your center conductor from your copper braid. You have copper braid, and you have vinyl. Color between the 2 cables makes no difference. So you've got black, white, I've seen blue. I mean, you can have pink with polka dots for all that matters to the cable. And the white insulation is to keep your copper braid and your center conductor apart. If you terminate your cables and even one strand of your copper braid touches your center conductor, you get an occurrence called ground looping. Ground looping is very easy to diagnose, very hard to trace. So if you're looking at a video screen, and starting at the bottom, you'll either have a black bar or a ghost bar that rolls from the bottom to the top of the screen. It doesn't hurt your video, it looks really bad. So you want to make sure that you take your time when you terminate your cables. And the copper braid is the negative of your video signal. And one of the other differences between Rg59 and Rg6 is Rg59 has 95% copper braid, so you have more shielding on your Rg59 cable based off of 60% comparison on your Rg6 cable. So since the Rg6 center conductor is bigger, you can go longer distances, but you have better interference on the Rg59. So you can run regular Rg59 cable about 650 feet. You can run Rg6 about 1,200 feet. Power wire is determined based off of your voltage. You're limited by about 150 feet for 12-volt cameras, 650 feet for 24-volt cameras. So talk to the manufacturer of your equipment. Make sure you're getting the right equipment. On pretty much all cabling, you will have dot matrix printing on it that tells you information on the cable. This one says Rg6, so it tells you what kind it is. It tells you 18 gauge, which is the gauge of your center conductor. Most importantly, on your cable, you are going to have a distance printed on it, the actual length in feet. And most of the boxes of coax or Siamese or anything that you get is going to be a box of 500 or a spool of 1,000. So this one says 474. So you know when you pull this out in the middle of nowhere that you have 474 feet left in the box. So when you're running cable on your own, this is so important to know. So that's really helpful. Type of connectors that you have. I have done 2-piece connectors for about 11 years, compression connectors for about 5 years. Since I learned on these first, I just have a better understanding of the 2-piece connector, so I like those better. Most professional installers like compression. Honestly, whatever you are most comfortable with is absolutely fine. This is a male two-piece connector. This is a female two-piece connector. This is an Rg59 ferrule, and this is an Rg6 ferrule. The size on the very end of the ferrule is what is going to be the biggest difference. If you ever get them mixed, the smaller portions of the ferrules, Rg59 will actually fit inside the Rg6 ferrule, so you can always separate them if you need to. The type of tools that you have on a ratcheting crimp tool, and it is ratcheting, all you do is just use something to knock the ratchet apart and you're ready to go. You will just squeeze, squeeze, squeeze on the handles until it lets go on the ratchet, and then you're ready for the next one. You have two dies at the end. The smaller hex die is for the small portion of the ferrule. Larger hex die is for the connector portion of the ferrule. And on the compression tool, once you release it and your cable's obviously in there, you put it inside and then you squeeze, squeeze, squeeze on the handles, and the band, the colored band, will disappear, and it actually compresses the fitting. That's what holds it on. The copper braid on a two-piece connector will actually get sandwiched in between the ferrule and the connector portion, and that's what holds a two-piece connector on it. The tools that you use are going to make a huge difference. For a camera, most cameras are terminated in a female BNC, so almost all of your what you're going to be terminating on your cabling is going to be a male BNC. And a male BNC, when you put it on, it actually just locks into place. Very, very good type of connector. And on the male side of it, you have to make sure that it's free spinning once you terminate it, and you make a good connector. So I hope that helps.